What's up, guys? It's John, and I figured we'd run through tonight's recap and go into tomorrow's games. It's looking like a good night. We only have two active plays. One of them is the Lakers Bucks game. We got the Bucks covering the 1.5, and it was like a 3-point game with a good bit of the third quarter left. And then we have TFO, who's playing right now. He's only in the first set though, and he's got to cover 3.5 games. So again, anything can happen there. As far as while I'm on the topic of tennis, we had yesterday. We were up. It was 1.8, and we had a couple in play. The Nuggets wound up coming through. We got the 2 unit cover. It was 1 unit on the sequence, as you can see, but 2 units on the day. So that was 3.8, and then the Nuggets Celtics over put us at 4.8. But then Sloane Stevens, she was actually only up like a game or two, and then she was up 4-0 in the third set. So it was looking like she was definitely going to actually get like a backdoor cover, but she didn't, unfortunately. It wound up being like 6-2, so she only won by 5 games. So that's down to 3.8, and then we missed Zapato. He lost the second and third set after winning the first. So we finished up 2.8. We came into yesterday at a positive of 10.25. So technically, we're up 13 units coming into today. Technically 13.05, but 13 units. So we had a good cushion going into today, and I wanted today to be good because it would basically guarantee a profitable week, which would be 9 out of the last 10. We are over 100 units. I did confirm. Chris always keeps me updated. So we're doing pretty good. So anyway, here's how we did today. Bucks in play. We got the Hawks cover. That was nice. Again, I thought they might go on a little bit of a cover spree, and they did. So that's 2 units. Knicks covered. They ran away with it. I almost made that one for 3 units, but the Magic are very weird, so I'll take it. Up 4 units. The Sixers, it's a shame because Chris also, he always lets me know how on many occasions I'll go with the money line and the spread would have hit. And they were down by like 30 points, but they actually did cover. I think it was an 8.5 point spread, and they lost by 8. They made a run at the end, though they were actually within 3, but they lost by 8. So I think we would have got that with the cover. So again, sometimes the money lines help us, but I am learning it seems to do better for us in tennis when we pick the money lines more so than basketball. So I don't do them often, but yeah, we've left some units on the table with money lines, so I'm always adjusting to that. And Chris keeps telling me, and like an idiot, I'm just not listening. So anyway, we didn't get that. Only 1 unit though, so we can obviously do a leg 2. So that knocks us down to 3 units. We missed Buffalo. I thought that was a trap, but I guess not. I'm noticing towards the end of the college season and with these little tournaments going on, in a lot of cases, the better teams are just pelting the worst teams. Like Murray State looked like a trap, and it was a good old-fashioned ass kicking. They got destroyed. I thought Pacific was a trap. They got destroyed. So, not in every case. We did have Manhattan winning at plus 250 yesterday, and they won straight up by like double digits. So, it's not going to be every game. But I'm noticing maybe they're trying to make it look a little more realistic towards the end. I'm not sure. But yeah, people on Twitter were just saying, I don't get this. These teams are out there like they don't belong on the court. But anyway, that knocks us down to 1 unit. And Rublev and Murray just escaped going over. First set was 7-6, so it just looked like it was going to go over. But then, like the next set, I believe was, I think it was 6-1 or something. It wound up being 20, maybe 21, but they didn't go over the 21.5 games. So that's just again another minus unit. So we did good with leg 3s, pretty good with leg 2s. So that knocks us down to even. We got, as I said, we did good with our only leg 3 actually. So we got Murrison for the cover, up 4 units. I almost took him to win. It just seemed like a trap, but I thought they might do a deal where Jari just sold the games. We got volley nets beating Joe Barra. That's 6 units, and as you know, I should have taken the money line there because we are currently like 4-5-0 fading Joe Barra, including money lines where we were getting like plus 200 and better. Just because she sells so bad, like it's ridiculous. There's no way that I'm outpicking these people that swear it's real and I can just see how bad of an actor she is, losing to these scrubs. This Valianets is mostly a doubles player, and they're pushing the Joe Bear meltdown, which they push a lot. So I expect to continue to do well for her, and then out of nowhere, she'll look like Serena Williams, and we'll be on top of it when it happens. And then Paolini, she did win 2-0, so that puts us at 7 units on the day with TFO in action and the Lakers Bucks. So the worst we can finish is 5 units. As it stands, stands right now. We're up 20.05 units on the week, giving ourselves a decent shot. And again, I just want to profit for the week. But our best week was actually last week at 33 units profited. I think it was 32, 33, something like that. And we could be over 20 units going into, or just right around 20 units if we like split them or something, or miss one going into Saturday and Sunday. We have a lot of plays tomorrow. So tomorrow we could take a beating, but again, we build up such a great cushion. That's what's nice about that. And I don't think we will. I think there's a bunch of nice plays tomorrow. It's similar to today where I picked my spot and went for the ones that make the most sense. So yeah, looking at 20.05 on the week right now, up 7 units on the day. We could finish up 9 or 5. The worst we can do is 5 because we only have 2 1-unit games in play. So another good day, which is always nice. And I'll run through tomorrow right now. So I got the Pistons covering the Mavs. 7.5 is just so light. Now the Mavs are very weird. They did this all last year too. They get the weirdest lines, and last year they found a way to, because they were horrible against the spread, so we took them a lot like the Hawks, and they found a way to always not cover like 5 points against the Wizards and like 4 points against the Raptors and all these weird spreads. The worst team in basketball, only 7.5, just weird. Even coming off a win, who knows? Maybe they give them their first back-to-back wins. But I just think it's a weird spread. So I like the Pistons to cover the Mavs for 1 unit, 7.5. I like the Celtics more because I think we've had a really good read over the back and forths that we're seeing in the West, and particularly with the Suns, Nuggets, Warriors, Celtics, and you can throw the Bucks from the East in there, and the Lakers. So we'll see how we do with that game tonight. But it just seems like we have a pretty good read over. It's like, again, the Suns will beat a, hypothetically, I don't know who they beat lately. I know they didn't cover the Raptors, but like they'll beat the Bucks, and then the Bucks will turn around and beat the Clippers, and then the Clippers turn around and beat the Lakers, who beat the Warriors, who beat the Bucks. It's like a weird deal there. So the Celtics coming off again a loss, and again it wasn't like they got humiliated. They had a nice comeback, but they really never had a prayer until the very, very end. I think 5.5 is kind of heavy, so I like them to cover that for 4 units. I think they're going to be, again, Suns are known as an inconsistent team, so I think the Celtics are going to maybe not do what they did to the Warriors, but just kind of come back and really come back strong. So the 2-game losing streak, they could push that narrative, and it's the first 2-game losing streak of the year. They could have them lose again and say, oh man, now they got 3. But I think they get them back on track. So I like the Celtics cover for 4 units. Clippers Bulls over I like because Clippers suck on the over. 221.5. Like you saw today, Knicks was set at like 206. I don't know. We should have picked that under. I don't know why I overlooked that. Because 206 is like a score from 20 years ago. And then the Wolves was like 208. But they actually wound up going over because they went to overtime. But I think this one goes over. People should be on the under. So I like the over for 2 units. Spurs cover Warriors seems like a great game. Maybe for people to take live. Spurs might go up like, 50 to 38, something like that. And then Vegas will have them as like slight favorites because obviously they never hold leads. But I just feel like it's going to be a pretty close game. I don't think the Warriors are going to pound them. I think it's on NBA TV. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's another game I'm thinking of. But I think it is. So maybe it's Celtics Suns. But either way, I think the Spurs will get the cover here. Not going to go with the money line. So 8.5 for 1 unit. I got it. I like 2 Nuggets cover Jazz 12.5. The spread's right. Like typically you see this and it's like a 6-point spread and it just doesn't make sense. So I don't think the spread's suspicious. But for the public, it's pretty high. And again, I just don't think people like laying that many points. Nuggets, one of the worst teams not that they're awful, but they're in like the low 40s covering the spread. Jazz are in the mid 50s, and it's a lot of points to lay. So I think the public is going to be reluctant on the Nuggets. So I got them covering for the 12.5 for 2 units. I got Kansas State beating Iowa State just straight up. Looks like a trap. So for leg one, that's going to be plus 140. Duquesne's another, or we have another leg three here because it's 144.5. Duquesne just played a game and they didn't really come close to going over. So now they're playing George Washington. I think people have to be on the under. So I got Duquesne going over the 144.5 for 4 units. We got Mississippi State covering South Carolina minus 4.5. South Carolina's ranked. They look better, but Mississippi State's giving 4.5. South Carolina's really good against the spread, so I like Mississippi State to cover that for a unit. I got George Mason covering mid Richmond. As you know, we fade Richmond a lot. They're really good against the spread, and we've done pretty good. They dropped significantly from when we started fading them, so basically a pick 'em, but 1.5. I got George Mason covering that for a unit. Vermont Albany, same story as Duquesne. We don't have, I think we only have 2 open sequences heading to a leg 3 because we've done a good job closing out our sequences. So it's a leg 2. I got Vermont and Albany going over the 147.5. SF Austin, I got them covering Utah Tech because SF Austin still sucks against the spread. We just got them on a couple covers. We actually had them on a straight up win for plus odds not too long ago. I think it was like 2-3 games ago. But I'm going to take them for the cover for the 9.5 here for a unit. Now this one, along with another one in a second, I'm going to go into. Again, Kentucky really good on the over, but it's set kind of high. But again, a lot of their games, they're scoring in the 80s and 90s. So public might see that and just pick the over. I see a decent amount on the under because of the score, but I'm going to play my metrics. So 1 unit for under 166.5. I got Duke covering UNC. Someone on the YouTube asked me to, give an opinion on this, and I was going to play this anyway, so it's part of our plays here. But I like Duke to cover. It looks like a 50-50 pick'em type game. So 4.5 just seems a little high. I could see 2 points, 2.5, and you might say, what's 2 points? But trust me, 2 points for Vegas is a big deal. So I think more people are going to be on UNC outright, and then it just comes down, can Duke cover, and I think they will. I got Northwestern cover in Minnesota. You know how I feel. Minnesota's still 80% against the spread. So as I predicted, that 88% was not going to hold. They were going to finish in the high 70s, as teams always do, or maybe the low 80s. And I think they'll drop into the 70s. When you go on crazy cover streaks, then what happens is when you start not covering, you'll not cover, it seems like, a good bit in a row. The Pacers did it with the under. The Hawks did it for us, where they've just been covering as of late. A lot of teams that weren't covering suddenly started covering. Now Minnesota's not. So I like Northwestern to cover the 4.5 or 2 units. This one I like because I'm not even sure if the guy's playing, but I do think they're going to start giving Bronny some hype. End of the year, I could see, Bronny's team here just getting a nice upset over Arizona. Again, they have to give him some story. I'm going to go into Bronny in a video on YouTube. I went into this before just because it's an interesting pattern I'm noticing. But plus 170, just 1 unit. Alabama, Arkansas is just like Kentucky, Tennessee. Now, both Alabama and Arkansas are very good on the over. They're sitting around like 74%, 76%, like respectively. But again, it's set so high, people might take the under. But then again, Alabama's been getting these like 100 to 90 type scores that I think some of their games they've gone higher than NBA teams in some games. So they've been going in crazy, just their pace has been insane. And they pick it up too. They'll have like games where they start off first 10 minutes like a combined 25-30 points. Looks like it's pacing for like a 60-70 point half. And they'll do like 70-75. And then they'll come out in the second half and drop like 100 or something. So, again, I think a lot of people might be on the over, so I got the under. Not a lot of tennis tomorrow. After it was recommended by Marco, and just careful consideration myself, I just think it's better we just continue calling this guy Macaque. It just rolls off the tongue better, and I honestly, the pronunciation of his name is so stupid anyway. I've been calling him that for a while, so that's what we're going to call him. I do like Makak to cover Manarino here just because Manarino is, again, a higher ranked player. He's made runs in tournaments, whereas Makak here just seems like he's not really taken too seriously. He did get a nice win over Wawrinka, but again, I've never heard of him really up until this tournament. I have heard of Manarino, played some good players, did pretty well, higher ranked, more better win percentage, all these different deals. So more people should be on Manarino in my opinion. So I got Makak covering the 2.5. Hopefully it doesn't come up short. And then we got Schneider, because I've never heard of her, beating Sakari plus 160 for 2 units. Again, they're pushing this Sakari meltdown really, really hard. First she fires a coach, then she's having tantrums on the court, then a journalist literally called her, well, I don't want to say literally, I don't hate, I just have a distaste for when people misuse the word literally, but essentially called her a disservice to Greece, which is pretty rough. She said, they said like the way she's playing and how she's been exposed essentially, and this was a Greek reporter, I'm pretty sure, she is making people question if Greek players are good. So she responded to that by basically lashing out at the reporter, and then she proceeded to get humbled in her next match where she was a favorite. So I don't see her suddenly getting into form. She's married to like the freaking prime minister's son of Greece, so I think she has more important engagements, and I don't see them really. You'd think because she's such high status they would push her, but I don't know. She might retire soon, to be quite honest. So anyway, it's a weird line. I think people are going to be all over her. She was like ranked like 4th not that long ago, and even now she's always in the top like 15 as far as rankings in tournaments. She's usually a top 15 ranked player because not every player plays in the tournament, of course, but a lot of the big names are in this tournament, most of them, if not all of them. But she's still way higher ranked. I never heard of Schneider. I don't know who she is. So I think people just, even though she's been melting down, they're still going to see that it's Maria Sakkari and take her. So I got Schneider covering or beating her leg 2 for plus 160. So we got a good bit of leg 2s in play tomorrow because we have a good bit of open leg 1s. Lost the Murray over, lost the Sixers over, and lost the Bulls over. Or I'm sorry, not Bulls over, and not Bucks over. That one's still in action. I might be thinking of yesterday. Let me see. Thought we had the Bulls yesterday. Suns. Maybe I was thinking of Suns. We missed the Suns over yesterday. Oh, I think it was the Heat. Either way, that's 5 leg 1s that we missed, and we have 1 in action here with the Bucks. We have TFO in action, so we have a good bit of leg 2s tomorrow. Because at the very least, we're gonna have like around 4, probably 5 heading to a leg 2, unless we get both of these with the Bucks and the TFO matchup, which we certainly could. But either way, like I said, we have a decent bit of leg 2s, not a lot of leg 3s. We did miss Buffalo. That was our only leg 2 loss on the day. And we had a couple leg 2 losses before today, but we played leg 3s today. So like the Pacers leg 2, that leg 3 was the tennis match where we had, what's his name? I can't even remember the guy's name. That's what I'm saying. It's funny with tennis. Morosan covering Jari. So you plug. That's how the system works. You lose a leg 2, you plug in a leg 3. So there we have that. We have some open ones. I thought we did. Here we go. Northern Kentucky Wright State. That's a leg 2. So we need a leg 3 for that. So obviously I plugged in Celtics cover Suns. So that's how the system works. 1 unit, 2 units, 4 units, and the goal is for every really 8, because you have to incorporate the juice. For every 8 times we win. So here's a win. Here's a win because we won before it went to leg 3. Here's a win. For every win, it's a unit profited at least. So we only have to win 7 to 8 really for every 3 leg loss, which means we lost a unit, 2 units, 4 units, which is a sequence. That's why I have all these different sequences. Wizards lost on leg 1, Indiana lost or St. Joseph's lost leg 2, etc. So Just kind of wanted to go into the system. I know a lot of people know how it works, but that's why I do it that way because, again, it really makes it where we have the value, and we're getting plus odds on some, so that always comes through and helps, and it kind of again helps mitigate the juice. But yeah, if we lose on a 1 unit play, then we plug in a 2 unit play, and if that loses, we plug in a 3. We only have like 2 heading to a 3, to a leg 3 for 4 units. But we do have like a handful heading to a leg 2 for 2 units. So that's why we have a good bit of leg 2s tomorrow. So like I said, we're going to be right around, the worst we'll finish today is 5 units. By the time this video is out, you'll probably have a good idea, because by the time it uploads, you'll probably know, where we sit. But as of when I started this, again, TFO is in the first set, looking like he'll probably take it by 2 games. And the Bucks were down 3, I think, in the third quarter with like 6 minutes left. So anything can happen with those two. But the good thing is, again, the worst we could finish is 5 up, which would put us 18.05 units on the week. And we could finish as good as 9 units up on the day, which would be 22 units on the week. So another really good week. Saturday's always a big one because you can see the amount of plays. We got close to 20 plays. So it's going to be a big one, a lot of units in play. But I like them all. You can see we're not playing a ton of anything. We're playing a decent bit of NBA, a good bit of college. We are playing a good bit of college. But again, it's because it's Saturday and like every college team plays on Saturday. Some traps, a good bit of metrics, and then some tennis plays. And again, I wonder if tennis will wind up being the difference. Today is another day. I say it a lot. And it was actually Chris again brought to my attention. As of late, we've been on an NBA heater. So NBA is outperforming tennis. But again, from like units put out to 1 ratio, tennis is still king right now. And we did good with tennis today. We're up 7 units, and it's either going to be 5 on, I'm just on with tennis now, because we're 6 with the Murray loss, right? And then TFO is either going to put us back to 7 or down to 5. But still a great day for tennis. Again, that goes the other way, and we're in the negative. So again, it's good to see tennis coming through. So tomorrow could be a close day where tennis winds up coming through. Hopefully it's not just a bludgeoning. We're going to have down days. But for the most part, we've been keeping it positive and doing really well on our leg 3s. And I don't think it's a coincidence. I really saved like the really big narrative, the really big metric, kind of fading the public all in one for my leg 3s for 4 units. And then for the leg 1s, again, sometimes we'll go for the USCs, the nice value, because we got 2 more cracks at it. So that's really it. I think we'll have a nice day tomorrow. And either way, we had another nice day today. Hopefully we finish it really strong. And again, we can be up over 20 units on the week. So take care and happy earnings.